Hello and welcome to another edition of On Point. I'm James Scully, joined by Vance Hanson, and this weekend we have three big stake races from Parx. They're all for 3-year-olds. Pennsylvania Derby and Cotillion are both $1 million. The Gallant Bob, I think $350,000 at 6 furlongs. The Classic, the Pennsylvania Derby produced Will Take Charge. He won in 2013, ran a no second in the Classic. Untappable won the Cotillion and the Distaff in 2014, and Trinidad was second in the 2012 Gallant Bob and then won the Breeders' Cup Sprint. But these races have also, Vance, produced horses. Gunrunner was second last year, ran second in the Dirt Mile, and even in 2013, Sweet Lulu was second in the Cotillion and came back and ran fifth in the Affiliate Mare Sprint. So the potential's there for up to 5 races to be a feeder for. And any early thoughts on, what are your thoughts on the Pennsylvania Derby?
Well, Bob Baffert obviously has the favorites in both the Derby and the Cotillion. West Coast, in my opinion, kind of separated himself a little bit from the rest of the 3-year-old division and winning the Travers so impressively last month. He's going to be the favorite on Saturday. I think he's going to be very difficult to beat in this particular spot. There's a lot of speed in the race. He won the Travers wire to wire, but he has shown in the past he's a very versatile colt, has come from off the pace to win graded stakes before. So, yeah, I look for West Coast to back up his Travers win here. IRAP obviously is the main contender in this race. He has won 3 graded stakes already this year, a good third in the Travers. I think that race is down to those two.
There's no doubt in my mind West Coast will be the divisional leader if he wins the race. I mean, winning the Travers and that. And there's still the potential for him to come back and get another grade 1 later in the year, like the Scar Mile or the Clark. It is, though, important because Baffert has Arrogate collected and Cupid all targeted now for the Classic. And he won't be able to keep West Coast out of the field if he wins on Saturday. So he's going to have 4 starters, 4 top-notch starters as well, serious contenders. I will say, I was on IRAP in the Travers, and I thought that the race didn't turn out well for him at all. I thought he was forced to really basically chase after a loose on the lead West Coast. Different scenario here. He still ran a big bang-up third, I thought. Got another big late pace. I love his late pace numbers. 110, 109, 105. He's got big, huge speed ratings. I think sitting mid-pack, he gets eligible to get a different trip. And I like the fact, Doug O'Neill said he bounced out of the race so well, and he's worked 5 furlongs and 6 furlongs at Parx in the interim. So all encouraging signs. I'll give him a little bit of the edge over West Coast. It's going to be tough to beat. And one long shot I'll mention, might not be good enough to win, but to consider for the exotics is Giuseppe the Great. He's making his 3rd start at a route. Really, it's sort of an even trip from he was stuck inside most of the way in the Travers, was 6th. Here he gets outside, long run to the first turn, has a chance, I think, to run decent.
Yeah, my long shot for the Pennsylvania Derby is Game Over, who was a really good second in the West Virginia Derby last time. Just his 4th career start, started his career in the claiming ranks, actually, and so he's progressed really nicely for Jorge Navarro, and he could be sitting on a good one as well.
Right, and then turn our attention to the Cotillion. I mean, Abel Tasman, really just so impressed by horses that are versatile enough to adapt to the conditions. After closing from last to 14 in the Kentucky Oaks, just a huge late kick. She basically bowled her way to the lead, entering the back stretch of the Coaching Club American Oaks last time, and led from the second call all the way to the wire. Just showed good speed that day, and was flattered when the runner-up, Late, came back and crushed him in Alabama. She's just tough as nails. She looks like the 3rd choice, probably, to sell her win and Forever Unbridled, but she's going to have a chance. If she wins and looks good, it'll be a 4th straight grade 1, a serious Distaff contender. I didn't think the field was that strong, 8-5 on the morning line. I mean, she could be 3-5. And if it does show up at less than her best, I might give it as well a little bit of a chance because she's shown good speed her last 2 starts, winning that Delaware Oaks and second in Alabama. What do you think?
Yeah, of the 2 main Baffert horses running on Saturday, West Coast and Abel Tasman, my gut tells me that Abel Tasman is the one that is the most vulnerable. That was a tough race in the Coaching Club American Oaks, as you alluded to, but a lot of that had to do with the pace scenario and how she went straight to the lead, approaching the second call, like you said. And and Baffert has given her a couple of months off to recover from that. He did pass the Alabama with her when that wasn't really necessary. So she did draw an outside post for Saturday, but I do expect her to, run to her very best in the Cotillion. So she's going to be a little hard to beat here and as well. I'm kind of being a chalk eating weasel this weekend, but that's just how I see things. As far as some of the other horses in there, I've always been kind of a fan of Actress, but she's been kind of exposed now since winning the Black-Eyed Susan, third in the Delaware Oaks to it as well, fourth in the Alabama. Despite a fast pace there, she really didn't show much of a kick in that race, and she really needs more than 1 mile and a 16th, and she'll get on
she
Saturday.
Still has a chance to be a really good 4-year-old
yeah,
as
I agree.
well. Yeah, so.
But as far as winning the Cotillion, that would be a bit of a surprise to me.
Right. But she's not there yet.
No, not there yet, and it's kind of a backup selection. I think Lockdown ran well below par in the Alabama for Bill Mott, who ended up winning the race with Elate. Just didn't fire at all, despite getting a nice pace, fast pace in front of her. I look back to her race 2 back in the Mother Goose, which I thought was a really fast effort. And I don't think we've seen the best of Lockdown yet, so she would be my alternative pick to Abel Tasman.
Well, she ran a big third in the Kentucky Oaks after a troubled trip, and then she stumbled out of the gate of the Coaching Club American Oaks, and I think a lot of people were looking for her to really come through finally in Alabama. And while she just didn't show up with her best that day. I agree, she still has some promise for Bill Mott going forward. And the final race we'll get to is the Gallant Bob. I mean, Vance, Petrov and Colefront have different owners, and they're coupled in this stake race, and it's a complete crusher for me as somebody who might want to play this race, because Petrov, I think he might be the second or third choice of the wagering at best if he was uncoupled. He has a top last out race brisk speed rating at 103. He ran big at 6 furlongs over the winter and is cutting back for Moquette. And he's a horse I really like in there, and it kills you that he's coupled with Colefront.
Yeah, it doesn't make it a very appealing betting race when they're both coupled due to a common ownership interest. And I'm not going to deviate from you on that particular opinion. I thought Petrov's allowance win last time at Saratoga was magnificent. Definitely improved cutting back from 2 turns down to 1. And meanwhile, Colefront didn't run up to his very best in the King's Bishop, or the Alan Jerkins last time. So, but yeah, Petrov is really going in the right direction. I don't see 6 furlongs being a huge issue for him.
Yeah, and Colefront, still is a pretty nice colt and willing to face as deep a field, so he's a bounce back candidate as well. And the others in there, I'll mention real quick, American Pastime. He's stepping up stakes company for Hess, and Excitations ran second in the Amsterdam, fast closing second. So, those are the main contenders in there, but the entry, like we've discussed, looks really strong. Next week we'll be back. We got 2 big, huge weekends ahead of Breeders' Cup Preps. Really look forward to discussing those in the weeks to come, and good luck everybody this weekend.